men's and women's privates and their bodies should not be subject to envy, but rather, if they misuse them by engaging in premarital intimacy or other selfish acts, then we should disapprove of them. But ultimately, we should want our bodies to be attractive, and whatever body type or features that a person wants, they should be willing to figure that out in terms of someone who they want to marry. But I'm going to list 5 points that people avoid considering regarding men's and women's privates. And that is that, first of all, experts don't talk honestly about the disproportionate size of women's internal privates, that they have these different sensational spots throughout the whole inside of the privates, and also, when over time or after children, a woman may not want to have intercourse because it's no longer comfortable. And so we should realize that men and, their whole prioritizing attention to everything else, anything from their own privates to their own getting off, which they can do on their own, or people prioritizing, men prioritizing, getting attention, peacocking, having a fancy car and all that. All that is a lower vibrational frequency than focusing on woman's flower and celebrating her external privates. Basically, the way you show that woman flowers, number one, is you pay attention to women and you look at them down there, and that's even more important than the woman's chest, because the chest is more for babies, in my opinion, and the flower basically transcends all of the drama of people comparing each other. And it should, as a man, you should think of it like this: even if you yourself had no privates, it wouldn't matter, because you still would be able to give oral to and focus on and celebrate on the woman's privates. The point being that if we want to have a peaceful world and a more trusting world, and a world where women get to be women, and where the women don't have to act masculine and aggressive, and everything from getting BBLs to women trying to have money and trying to wear high heels and makeup, and all that, I would argue, is actually masculine. It's a way of posturing to be more aggressive. The opposite of that is a woman showing off her flower in whether it's the setting of an adult entertainment club or whatever it may be. But I think that married women, if their husband would like, and they would like to, they should show off in a sacred yet in an adult entertainment way. And we should also encourage couples to have to produce adult video entertainment, because that's part of being human. And I think a lot of the reason that a lot of people in church would disagree with me is because they don't realize that it's that getting off that's so essential to avoiding premarital intimacy, which originally a lot of religions wanted to do. They wanted to help people, and the way men do that is by having post-nut clarity, and the way you get that is by viewing adult entertainment or going to a gentleman's club and enjoying the view of women instead of, and that helps you to be patient, to wait for the right one. And so if we could work on that, I think that was 5 solid points. Everything from realizing that the experts are not being totally honest, and they're saying that that women's experts don't really have an answer, and and this is something that people should individually be looking into, from women exploring themselves with toys and knowing their body, and from men not wanting to be with a woman unless she is attracted to them, and vice versa. Like, this is how we elevate consciousness. And ultimately, people not engaging in premarital intimacy, they know their bodies well enough. It's also about duration and frequency. Like, how often do you engage in self-intimacy? That should be an indicator of how often you're going to want intimacy during the marriage. But you need to organize your life so that you have that time. Otherwise, it's just going to be taken up by childcare and by having the man have to work a lot. And we need to create a society that, however that looks, that where, people can trust each other more, to watch each other's children, but it starts with no premarital intimacy, and also healthy gender separation. Because when you don't do that, what ends up happening is people cannot and should not trust each other. They can't trust each other because everyone's trying to seduce each other's, by offering more pleasure. And just because some people might be able to provide each other more pleasure because of more supposed intimate bedroom compatibility, is that really the defining factor of what you want in a marriage? Like, people are all unique, and they should all know each other, and they can even talk platonically about this, like in an email or video chat. They can say, well, this is, email is actually better, because email is like the most formal, statistical, scientific, platonic, non-romantic way of saying that, hey, this is what I like, X, Y, and Z. Do you have X, Y, and Z? Are you willing to, what's the frequency and duration that you want intimacy, and all that. So we can do all of that if we are smart, and we want to actually create a society worth living in, and we're not all narcissists and hedonists who all they care about is pleasure, and they also don't care about women being able to be in their feminine, which they can't if we expect women to look out for themselves and not have a father or other men help protect them and help them select a legitimate husband and a loyal husband, and somebody who these women should give their bodies to, as long as they have the exchange of a life commitment. It's the woman's job. It's supposed to be the woman's job to that she's born with her value, and she values her body so much that she won't give it away except for commitment. And the woman don't respect a man who seems desperate and gives his commitment right away either. Both of them should be realistic and only want a person who's physically and mentally attracted to them. And then we can all start trusting each other more, because we're all operating in the truth and in science, and not the emotional abstraction of, oh, love, oh, I want a boyfriend, girlfriend, quote unquote, or, oh, I want a significant other, or, oh, I want a, romantic partner, or, oh, I'm seeing this person or dating them. All things that really don't mean anything, except that they would rather engage in hedonistic premarital intimacy gratification prior to a lifetime of commitment and love. So in other words, they value pleasure more than they value commitment or matching up of the souls. So and it takes time to develop that, and you can't be distracted by that. The man giving his excess time and money away to a woman who he doesn't, isn't committed to. Like, he needs all that to get ready for his real spouse. And just the same, a woman needs to maximize herself and be as pure and unattached. And, women naturally have a following instinct, and they, I think, are more programmable or suggestible. And so what happens is women, end up being with men, and they get used to them, and they get familiar with their routines. And then eventually it becomes harder for women to keep resetting and doing that. And the same for men. You know, they build up these memories, and they give their time and money to a woman, and the woman, cheats on them or whatnot, or the woman it breaks the quote unquote relationship. Like, it's so ambiguous, all these things, that now they call them relationships, or boy and girlfriends. Who wants to be a boy and a girl, or a friend, or a generic relationship? Let's return to being husband and wife, and for that matter, husband and husband, whatever it may be. But in the name of truth and love and honesty. Thank you. Aloha.